to Jalen. Man, he's a hell of a player. I don't know if Steph maybe. I don't know if we blitzed anybody as much as we did Jalen tonight.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
Well, you heard that, Becky. Put that man in the level of Steph. What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick Of Time Show. Here to give you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time, talking about the Knicks and the best point guard in the NBA, Jalen Brunson, because the Knicks beat those Kings 98-91, and it was a thriller. It was a good one, and we thought it would be, and it definitely was. But guess what? The Knicks didn't really score well. Dante gave you 15 points. Burks gave you 12 points, actually. Bojan gave you 9 points. And you look around and you're like, where are the rest of the points coming from? Oh, it's coming from MVP candidate, all NBA candidate, best point guard in the NBA, still underrated but can never be duplicated, Jalen Brunson, who gave you 42 points, shot 60% from the field and 50% from three. How does a man do this? Being double teamed all night and still shoot 60% from three. I don't know. That man is a human, but Jalen Brunson did it, man. And we're going to talk about it all. The good, the bad, and the good, because we won. Ugly today, even though we didn't really score well. The defense was beautiful. The defense was phenomenal. The vibes are immaculate. Hartenstein was amazing. The Knicks defense was on the string. There was a Burks sighting. There was a Bojan sighting. And there was a win. And we are back on the winning streak, guys. 3 games in a row. And Jalen Brunson, man. Jalen Brunson is an elite company now. One of only 4 Knicks to score back-to-back 40-point games. Respect this man. And I want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it all. Before we talk about it, I'm going to introduce you to my guys. First and foremost, it's the man, the myth, the legend, the guy with the stats and the facts.
Ryan G's in the building. Great win last night in Sacramento. And I'm not coming to the altar yet, but I give props where props is due, and we'll get into that later on in the show.
Alec Burks MVP chance. MVP. MVP. Oh, man. and of course, you got Mr. SNY contributor, Lee Escobedo. Great link up with Dexter on SNY. Phenomenal job breaking down the Kings and Precious Achiuwa. How you doing, Lee?
Appreciate that love, Jay Ellis. I just wanted to give a friendly reminder to everyone in the chat and everyone who comments on YouTube. Make sure you're respectful when you're talking about members of KOT. I did not like the disrespect I saw on my sister Ebony in the chat. Me and her went head to head and didn't have to do any name calling or disrespecting. So y'all keep that energy and make sure you remain respectful to everyone on the crew when it comes to commenting on our statements in the YouTube and the chat.
Absolutely. It's interesting. I hate when people keep it basketball, guys. It's talking about basketball IQ and those. I hate those comments so much. I'll engage with anybody until the intelligent stuff. I just don't like it, but I appreciate you. All right.
Especially when they're talking about the smartest person on the panel who there's not a single basketball term Ebony doesn't know and can't talk about. So you're making yourself look at a fool.
Yeah, but it's YouTube. That's how it is.
A bunch of ass clowns, pretty much.
Tell him, Ryan.
Ass clowns. Yeah. I don't sweat that, guys, because Google. He can Google. Everybody can Google the stats. You pulling out these names, and if you Google head-to-head status with all those names versus Mitch, you'll be surprised the stats. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Well, we all watch the game, but we don't watch it the same, and that's okay.
All right, you're on our Clyde, man. We rhyming over here. We salute to Clyde and Monica, who's doing a phenomenal job.
Yes,
on the play-by-play. But of course, it's Ebony over here, Rookie of the Year, D1 baller. What's going on?
I'm good. I'm excited. Like you said, Brunson. I know we're going to get into a bit more detail, so I'm not going to go too long-winded. But what I will say is, look what defense does. Mm-hmm. Look what defense does. You're always in the game. Even when you're shooting 28% from three. you're still winning games. You understand? Because they shot what, 27, 26?
Mhm.
That is so because they shot worse. Look what defense does. We made it uncomfortable. I think Sabonis had like 18 points at halftime when he finished with 21, right?
Right.
Shut down. Absolute shut down. We allow, and the way we did it was so clever. We've done it before. It's becoming a common theme of how we go against these superstars. We let them be who they are. At first, the whole first half, you can go off. That's you. Second half, they start blitzing you and late double teams and things of that nature.
Mhm.
But everybody else is out of rhythm now. So now it makes it hard. Now they have to beat us. You get what I'm saying? The others have to beat us, and they got their shots yesterday. They just could not make it.
They cannot.
Keegan Murray, Barnes, and who was Herder, who had 0 points. They had open shots. They did.
Open? There were a couple. There were a few and far between. I feel like
not a lot, definitely not a lot. But they had their chances. Herder had enough chances to not have 0 points.
Yeah, like even the open ones, I felt like they were opens for like a few seconds. But the Knicks
and
second,
by design too.
Yeah, the Knicks second and third efforts are strong. Like their closeouts were very consistent the entire game.
That's something else I wanted to talk about real quick too. Yeah, the team rotations that I know we're going to talk about Brunson, so I'll wait to then. But just say about the team rotations, like it was on point.
Yes,
it was third, fourth efforts, all game. Like so, yes, there wasn't many open shots, but they had far in between. We made them pick a choice. First, it was Sabonis. We stayed home. And then we started blitzing. So, the rotations they were open, like you said, but for a split second, they were contested.
Yeah.
They would contest them.
And I felt like even though, like, we really shut down all the passing lanes too, because Sabonis is the guy, they run the offense a lot through Sabonis. He passes the ball a lot. The deflection levels were high. Even Brunson, I started calling Brunson Defensive Player of the Year last night because he stole the ball a few times. He got his hands on a few deflections. So did Dante. So did OG. It was a total team effort. Even Bojan, even Burks. Like, it was defensively, we were on a string for most of the night. Now, I'm not saying it was perfect with some of those guys, Bojan and Burks, but they made a lot of great defensive plays as a team, and we ended up holding another team to under 100 points for the fourth time in a row. Woo!
Ooh.
Yeah.
But it's crazy you said Burks. I'm not gonna call him Detroit Burks today. He's just gonna be Burks.
Yeah, he regular Burks.
Hopefully I could call him New York Nick Burks soon.
Exactly.
But
got the Detroit water off of him.
What I would say is that he was fighting over the screens.
He was.
Yesterday was the best defensive effort I've seen since he's been in a Knick uniform.
That's a fact.
Yeah, he did get picked on after they took Bogey out. They did start targeting him afterwards, but he was going over those screens a lot, like, and they hedged. That's what was making it difficult for Fox. They hedged away from I'm sorry. They hard hedged him on every screen and high with their hands up. So they took away the passing lanes, and they'll have OG or Dante and lurking. And then also, like you mentioned, Brunson. Oh my god, his team defense. He is small, so he is limited on ball defense, right? But what was becoming very, very, very good at, very, very good at, is his team defense, his rotations, just being there, making the offense just hesitate for a second, so somebody else can come help him if it's a mismatch. Whatever it is, he's coming and learning when to use his small size, because they lose him and they turn his back, and he got a couple of chippies like that, steals where they just lost him, and he came and stole it from behind. So yeah, he's growing. Like I said, he's still young too. He is still learning on the job.
Nah, I agree. I liked Alec Burks one-on-one defense. He had some guys one-on-one defense versus Fox too. But I'm bringing it back to Brunson. And this win was impressive. And I have to just say something, because this is one of the coldest 42 straight buckets I've ever seen. And what makes this be one of the coldest 42-point buckets from Jalen Brunson I've ever seen is the fact that He only went to the free throw line one time. He had 2 free throws. And as physical as this game was, as much as he was on the floor, as much as he got hit, beat up, pushed around, for him to only get 1 trip at the free throw line is absolutely asinine. But the fact that did nothing but piss him off, lock him in, then he scored 42 points and carried the team on his back was freaking fun. A 42-point game with 1 trip to the free throw line is crazy. Shooting 60% from the field when you're seeing double teams all night and traps all night is absolutely insane. 50% from 3, the way he was being covered is absolutely asinine. He should have really, the refs robbed him of a 50-point game. Like, straight up. They robbed him of a 50-point game because if he went to the line as much as he's been fouled, he might have had 55, 60. Like, straight up. Because he was unstoppable. And I do not like the way he did my cousin Ellis, yo. I don't like the way he did cousin Ellis, man. I don't like the way he did it. It was disrespectful. Keon Ellis, one of the great defenders on that team. Knicks up 3. Jalen Brunson has him on the island, gives him the fake points like a screen is coming so he could turn his head and woof, gone. Left my cousin Keon looking crazy on Sports Center. Din, 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 din.
I think I need that on a shirt, the reaction, but I need a clear picture. They only got a blurry one, so
I agree. But I bigs up to Jalen Brunson for sure. One of the best games of the season. And what's going on? Let me get to Lee, because Lee wrote the Jalen Brunson is the best point guard in the NBA article. I know you feel vindicated. What did you feel about the game and Jalen Brunson in general?
You know, that wasn't the first time I said that statement. The first time I said it was here on the KOT show. Jalen Brunson is the best point guard in the NBA. And I think you had to think about the playoff resume. People brought up Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I am not saying Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not more skilled or averages more points, rebounds, assists, but what's his playoff record? What's he done in the playoffs? Someone remind me. Because I know what Jalen Brunson's done in the playoffs. Well, Nuka was out against the Utah Jazz, and then how he contributed against the Phoenix Suns and Golden State Warriors after that. My boy Jalen Brunson's a dog. I said it in the first week of the signing. Best free agent signing in New York Knicks history. He might be a top 5 free agent signing in NBA history.
Yeah.
If you think about how it happened. Dallas's ability to sign him for 4 years, $55 million. That might have been the best contract in NBA history. Now, would he have exploded in Dallas like he did in New York? Maybe not. Because in my opinion, Tom Thibodeau is a 10 times better developer than Jason bum-ass kid.
Talk about it.
We should all be lucky and thank the stars, our gods, double blessings, that Nico Harrison is such a bum and Mark Cuban is such a bum that they lost this kid and he was able to come to New York, and Leon set up the whole thing. Godfather. His father and the coaching staff, his father's coach as a head coach in Tibbs, all these guys that he was comfortable around, and then bringing his college teammates to the team as well. You saw how excited he got when he learned Josh Hart was on the team. You know how excited he got when he learned that Dante DiVincenzo was on the team, the Michael Jordan Delaware. So Leon has not only found him and brought him in, he then made him comfortable and did what a lot of GMs and execs can't do, which is cater to your superstar without acquiescing the control of the franchise to him. Leon is still in charge, but Brunson feels comfortable enough to reach his full maximum potential and become a Super Saiyan point guard in the NBA. And I am all in on a championship year this year. I have no doubts we're going to win it all. And why? Jalen Brunson. My man has a clutch gene. He went up against 3 guys who are clutch. Herder's clutch, Monk's clutch, and I think De'Aaron Fox won the clutch award last year, if I'm not mistaken. Jalen Brunson dogged them all.
Yeah.
When it came to crunch time, give me the ball. And Jay Ellis is right. My man was getting blitzed, double teams, trapped, bamboozled, hoodwinked. Brunson was like, I'm still here, baby.
I'm still here, baby.
He wants to smoke like no Knick I've seen in my lifetime since Melo. And I have to admit, I trust him even more than I trusted Melo in the fourth quarter. And that's saying a lot because I had gotten hit in the face defending Melo at dive bars across Dallas, Texas. So shout out Jalen Brunson. You're my main man. I ride or die.
Yo, Lee, you get extra points for me because you mentioned Dragon Ball Z and Malcolm X in the same rant. So
Let's
Yeah.
go.
so you won me over.
That's funny. I just want to say real quick. I see my mom. Shout out my mama in the chat.
What up, Mama Ebony?
Love you. But yeah, I agree with everything Lee just said. This is the most confident I've ever been in a player. Like, to know it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's in front. They try big, little. They have somebody on his team called Off Night. They have somebody on their team that they call Off Night. That was his nickname. Because when he defends them, they have off nights. Well, Off Night had an off night on both ends.
Off night was awful.
On both ends. Like, don't get into it. Like, he almost had Snell numbers. It was like 1 rebound, 1 assist, 0.0 steals. You know, he's normally a Deuce McBride. He makes his impact felt on the defensive end. And Brunson played with him. Pause. That spin move.
That spin
was crazy.
Move was the fake.
He did it a couple times to him. Like, he did it once in the first half too. Like, so it's just that his footwork and again his IQ. He's just getting better as the games go, as he sees more defenses, you know, as the guy. This is what it's showing him, what it is to be the guy. Now you get your guys back. What does that look like? A championship. That's what Spider-Man told me. I believe in signs. I told y'all. The imagery.
We just gotta get healthy, but we have a championship level. When you have a closer like that and the amount of elite role players that we have on our squad, we do have the makings for a championship team. We just need a couple of things to break right for us, like health, really. Yes. But there's a lot of ingredients here. Ryan G, I know you haven't said anything in a minute.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough for me to pretty much follow up everybody because everybody pretty much said everything about the game. But yeah, Jalen Brunson had a great night. 42 points. He pretty much outscored Sabonis and Fox combined last night, which is crazy. And it's getting to that point in the season now where, you know, teams are battling for playoff spots because, you know, the Kings are in their battles as well in the Western Conference where they're trying to, you know, stay out of that play-in spot. And so you saw two teams basically battle because it's, you know, it's two playoff teams trying to battle for positionings in their respective conferences. And I think the fact that the referees are letting the game go a bit and letting teams play a bit more physical, I think that favors the Knicks because the Knicks are one of the more physical teams in the league and they lock down on defense. So I think the way the refs are reffing the games now, it more benefits the Knicks, and the Knicks are taking full advantage of that, and they're letting these teams feel them, you know, on the defensive side of the ball. And yeah, they're locking down on defense. Jalen Brunson offensively pretty much saved the Knicks in this game with his play. I mean, to shoot 17 to 28 from the field and really get no fouls called your way, allowing the Kings to play physical with them, and the fact that he rose above that and still dropped 42 is just amazing on his part. And like I said, I'm not coming to the altar as of yet because one game ain't going to do it for me. You have to show me on a consistent basis that you're going to play at that level. But I am a person who's fair, and I give props where props is due. And Alec Burks, he showed up last night.
He did.
He had a team leading plus 13 points when he was on the floor. And I've often criticized Alex Burks for his defense, but you have to give him his props. When he was on De'Aaron Fox, he locked up De'Aaron Fox.
Sure did.
De'Aaron Fox had trouble scoring when Alex Burks was on him. And I like what Thibs did. And it's showing growth in Thibs because usually Thibs is a coach that he's a coach of habit. You know, like he sticks to his guys. He plays his guys certain minutes. He doesn't really adjust much with, you know, the way he plays guys and things of that nature. And in this game, McBride is the guy that, you know, Thibs goes to first and foremost off the bench where, you know, when he needs that backup point guard in the game, McBride is the first one coming off the bench and McBride gets most of the minutes due to the play of McBride so far this season. And he's proven that he does deserve that spot. But seeing in this game how McBride was kind of struggling, especially offensively, and seeing how Burks was actually having an impact on offense and he was actually impacting the defense as well, he actually stuck with Burks more and played Burks more minutes than McBride. So just seeing that, seeing how Thibs is able to read a game and decide like who I need to keep out there based on matchups and things of that nature, it's showing growth in Thibs. And I gotta admit I'm on board, because if Thibs plays like this in the playoffs where he dictates matchups and he plays the guys who's more effective as opposed to like sticking to a certain 8-9 man rotation, yeah, this team is gonna go far. And with the way they're locking down on the defensive side of the ball, it,
Say it.
yeah,
Ryan's about to cry.
I'm trying not to jump out the window, man. But
Say it, Ryan.
Ryan's about to cry. Listen,
Go ahead
on
and
to
Ron
the dark
Browns.
side.
Ron Browns jumping out the window.
all I'm gonna say is the Celtics, we coming.
we come.
Let's
We
go.
come. We come.
Y'all might be on the top of the East right now, 8-9 games ahead, whatever the case may be. Y'all may be dominating these teams, but when you face this Knicks team, the way we play defense, it's going to be a dog battle.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna see who's gonna come out on top.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the Alec Burks game came at a perfect time because nobody was scoring for us. Brownie had a stat. He said Jalen Brunson, he scored 60% from the field, 50% from three. The rest of the Knicks shot 34% from the floor and 21% from three. So we definitely needed help anywhere we can get it. This was This was like a playoff atmosphere. So McBride, I feel like this is one of the first times he's actually played in the game where the defense was ratcheted up for that high of a level, and he stayed in the game. Because he has, this is the first year's beginning minutes, so he's gonna have a learning curve playing through those type of playoff type defenses, because that's the type of defense you play really in the playoffs. Guys like Bojan and Burks, they've been there, and you're hoping that they have moments like this because they've been there. They don't panic. And we've been looking for that for what? How many games have they been here? 15 games or so? Like how long? And this is the first time we actually seen it, and we needed every bit of it. They scored 21 points, I believe. And they went on a hell of a run in the fourth quarter. And Tibbs even had them out there with Brunson. He had a lineup of Brunson, Burks, Bojan, Hartenstein, and OG. And normally those type of lineups, I get a little bit worried about the defense. But it held out defensively for the most part until it didn't. But it held out defensively for like a good 5 minutes before it started to crumble a little bit. So to me, that's the biggest part of tonight. Not even just the offense, but the fact that we had Burks and Bojan in there and we didn't collapse defensively makes me start to believe, okay, if this is the type of defense that Burks and Bojan could play, even though it wasn't perfect all the time, like Bojan missed the box out and it was bad. But if you
and Burks got backdoor yesterday too, but
right,
they gave effort. That's the thing.
Right.
Lots of it.
But if we can sustain that type of level for most of their minutes, then they can be on the floor longer. Then they can share the court with Brunson for longer stretches if they can do that. That's the thing that I really took away from last night.
There was a moment in the second half where, and I was texting you guys, there was an ass crack lined up on the floor that Tibbs put out there. And there was some guys that he has a lot of trust in. I believe it was McBride, Burks, Hart, Bojan, and Precious. And that's when we lost the lead and Sacramento went up by 4. And I was texting, I was like, man, this lineup is ass. And I think Tibbs, he saw something. He saw the potential of Burks and Bojan, and he made 2 slight adjustments. He put Ihart in for Precious, and he put Brunson in, head of a snake in for McBride. But he kept in there Josh Hart, Burks, and Bojan, especially with 2 Detroit guys who were key in the fourth quarter. And that lineup is a lineup that also finished the game and won the game for us as well. I think there's a moment where Hart might have been subbed out for Precious, but the trust in both Burks and Bogdanovic to get a feel, to know that they weren't the issue. it was a complementary pieces surrounding them. And seeing that substitution and saying, you know what, I'm going to sit McBride, I'm going to sit Precious, and have iHeart and Brunson out there with these other guys that primarily either have been stuck on the bench or when they play have been inefficient, was a great evolutionary move by Tom Thibodeau. And it got my trust. I was like, man, my guy's evolving. That's a lineup. Both those lineups are lineups we have not seen a lot of. One worked and one didn't, and he knew when to make that adjustment and how he would say immediately. We saw the lack of communication and the broken plays, 2 backdoor cuts, I think, as well, that Sacramento got us. He yanked that rotation and made the lineup change. And I was like, damn, Tibbs, man, if he can evolve that way. I spoke on that SNY, and that's a mantra that Ebony's been saying the entire season. It's where I got it from, his ability to freestyle. If he can do that, he might end up being the best coach in the playoffs overall going into this postseason. If he can actually adjust from his standard game plan and that tight 9-man rotation and maybe allow a 10th man or 11th man, if it's just 8 minutes, that will win us a championship. And he's becoming a hell of a coach.
Yes. That's what my surprise was, y'all. My pregame space, I said I was watching Tibbs. This game, I'm watching Tibbs. I want to see what the adjustments, his lineups, who he puts on who. Just not in the I was curious, you know, and he didn't disappoint yesterday. Deuce's flaws were on the Summer Jam screen yesterday. Yeah. You know, that's off night did, like Marshall mentioned, he did lock him up a couple times, but that's why Deuce didn't play that much. So that's why off night had the off night, because Brunson abused him.
Exactly.
but Tibbs adjusted so well. Like again, Sabonis had 18 points halftime, going nuts, getting whatever he wanted to get at that first half. Really, they adjusted where they blitzed him on the perimeter, where he's not as comfortable as he would be on the post, and that caused a little confusion in the Sacramento's offense. You know, caused a couple of little turnovers here and there. So like that, those are adjustments, and the fact to go, it was a point where Josh Hart and Dante were off. You know, they couldn't really hit shots. He pulled them, and rolled with Burks and Bogey, and they showed out. They had a run, like you mentioned. Somebody mentioned they had a run on their own by themselves.
Yep, fourth quarter.
They went on a run by themselves. It was good effort, and they did other things. Bogey's first point was a fast break layup. He broke out for an easy layup. Yeah. The effort, the energy was there. They did it other ways than just shot hunt. You know, Burks had a couple assists today. You mean like yesterday? Like, so that's what I love. And it just with Tibbs again, all the adjustments, and then he went back to Josh Hart and Dante in like the last 2 minutes or so. You know, go back to what your bread and butter, your defense or whatever, and again, then it let your guy be your guy. Give the ball to your guy. He let Brunson do his thing to take us home. So yes, I was very impressed with him playing who was impacting the game and not just his normal set rotations.
I agree.
And like Lee says, if he can do that, then I'm all for it. I think he can be one of the best coaches in the playoffs, because he does simplify the game for others. And he makes you do the other things very well. Like, you have to do the other things.
Yeah, I agree.
And that carries you away when you can't hit shots.
I agree. I think he's done a good job. Seems like coaching up the Detroit rust off of Bojan and Burks. Hopefully that continues versus the Golden State Warriors. I guess stuff like that takes time, I guess. So we'll wait and see if that has some carryover. But also, I would be remiss if I did not point out the defensive masterclass that Hartenstein put on. Because
let's talk about it.
Hartenstein, I'm not going to hold you. Hartenstein played really well for a month. And then he disappeared for me. I mean, he's been playing. Yes, he's been playing, but to me, he hasn't really been effective over the last month. I feel like there's been 3 games lately where I'm saying, wait, that's the Hartenstein I remember from a month ago. That's the Hartenstein. Today, to me, was probably the strongest defensive Hartenstein game I've seen since the injury happened. When he was guarding Sabonis one-on-one, for the most part, Sabonis really didn't score. He caused turnovers. He played him physical. He played really good help defense. He had 5 blocks on a night. He had a phenomenal block on, I think, Keegan Murray, who tried to go baseline. So his instincts are back. His quickness is back. And Hartenstein, he really stepped up. I don't know if we win this game without Hartenstein playing today.
We don't.
Yeah. So very underrated performance by Hartenstein. Today, yeah, Precious got cooked a little bit today. I'm not going to hold you. I don't think that it's those bigger guys are not Precious's jam. Like the physical, taller, bigger players are the guys you put Precious on. But this is a perfect game for Hartenstein, so gotta give props. Even though he had 7 points, his game was massive. Hartenstein's game was massive.
3 points in the whole half. He went from getting whatever he wanted to 3 points in the whole half. I believe that he had, or something like that, right? He finished with 21. So yeah. It's iHeart. It was amazing. He took the challenge. He didn't back down. He had Sabonis in jail. 2-3 attempts. He was trying to, couldn't do anything. He had to pass it back out and restart. If we don't have him, I don't know if we win the game. I do have confidence in Sims though. I would have liked to see him on one of these matchups, to be honest.
Me too.
I would like we said, Achua was getting chewed up. But he made an adjustment, and Tibbs made the adjustment. He helped the player. He helped his player on defense. Realized that he had a mismatch. What I'm gonna do is, when you're in here, we're going to blitz Sabonis on the perimeter. We're not even going to allow him to post up. And that's what he did. In that third, fourth quarter, when Precious was in there, and it worked. While his minutes, he wasn't getting destroyed. So yeah, I see Precious and Tibbs. I see it. I like his game, but today I definitely would have liked to see Sims. I mean, yesterday I would like to have seen Sims. Just a little, just to see, my curiosity, and like I said, it wasn't going so well with Precious.
I feel like they don't want to mess with Precious money. I think that's what it is, yo. I think Precious being a free agent, him being traded here, I think they don't want to mess with his money.
I guess, and Sims is there, right?
Yeah, Sims is here. If he plays well or not this year, it's not a huge deal. Precious, this is like a career defining moment for him. Like the next 2 months for him are really important. So I think sometimes when you see trades and players playing, sometimes it's basketball based and sometimes it's business based. And I think, not to say that Precious is a bad player or anything, but I think certain moments business might go over the basketball. I don't know. All right.
Yeah. And I just want to throw in something right quick too, because Hartenstein did have a masterclass on defense against Sabonis, and I think the most important thing is that because the Knicks often did send late doubles towards him as well, in order to send those late double teams to try to throw a playoff rhythm, you have to have a guy that's going to be able to stay in front of his defender to allow those late double teams to get there. And Hartenstein did a masterful job of guarding Sabonis, and also there was also a play that I wanted to point out too. I think it was late in the game where Sabonis had the mismatch against OG, and this shows OG's defensive ability, able to guard any position 1 to 5, because he had a mismatch on OG late in the game, and Sabonis didn't just try to face him up or anything like that. Sabonis tried to be physical with OG and try to run through him, and OG held his own and stopped it from scoring. And I just want to point that out as well, because OG has been masterful on defense since he's come to the Knicks. And it's kind of funny that this winning streak coincides with OG coming back into the lineup, and even though Brunson is the head of the snake and he's the best player on the team and he's the leader, OG is really that X factor. He's really that guy that transforms his team, from being a middling defensive team towards a straight championship level defensive team.
This is sorry. Go ahead, Lee.
I want to do a little something in here. So I could load a little bit on the iHeart versus Mitch debate.
Oh wait, can we hold that? Can we hold that? Can we hold that?
Sure.
Can you hold that? I'm gonna just talk about OG and I'm gonna right into that.
Yeah. I want to say something about OG too after. And then, yeah, before we.
All right, because since we here, this
Let's
is
do it.
why when people talk about points, it's like this many points is coming out, and this many points is coming in, and they only think about points per game. The game is more than points per game. The game is more than points per game. Just because somebody has 20 points going out and somebody else is coming in and giving you less than that, does that mean it's not going to help our team? There are intangibles, X factors that you really don't quantify because OG's in the game. OG only scored 2 points. He only scored 2 points. But like you said, his versatility defensively allows you to do so many things. A wing that can stand up to a center one-on-one is not, they don't grow on trees. And the fact that he was able to do that and have iHeart kind of double him and force that turnover was big for us. And not only that, like the elbow thing, obviously the elbow is bothering him and it's affecting his shot. You can see the way he's shooting the ball, he kind of grabs his elbow sometimes in the corner. But just him having the reputation of being a three-point shooter and the threat of being a three-point shooter is spreading the floor for us. Because even though he's not hitting those shots, they close out on him hard. They close out on him really hard. And the fact that he's just a threat that people know that he's there, they can hit, allows things to open up for us just a little bit. So I don't think it's happenstance that our 3-game winning streak coincides with OG Anunoby returning to the Knicks. I think they both go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree. OG, like you mentioned, that's why he was one of the people when people asked who you wanted to come back first. I had picked the defender. I said OG because you need that. That's a big flaw that we have against the big wings. We need somebody that can put water, basically, essentially on the people that are hot, the hot players, because that's basically what happens. If you're hot during the game, Tibbs will put him on you, and the fact that you can do that, and with the team defense and help of others that we have, it just unlocks him because he has other people like-minded like him, like Josh Hart and DiVincenzo. They trying to get into the passing lanes while he locking up, so that helps him. And again, the presence, they have to respect him. They know they don't want to let him get high. Okay, he's off now, but we're not trying to let him shoot himself in the game. You heard shoot. You heard Monica with her saying about it. It's the truth though. I always tell you, shooters gonna shoot. That's what you gotta do. They tell you to have a short memory. As a shooter, you have to have a short memory. You understand? Just keep it going.
Yep, keep the shot going.
But his presence is an offense, and his presence on both ends are offenses because people won't try him. So even if he's not 100%, his reputation, people hesitate. They hesitate when they're going at him. He makes offenses stagnant.
Yes,
it's very one-on-one-ish. Nobody else is getting involved, because he can keep his man in front of them, and everybody is able to stay home and get aggressive with their man and their help defense.
Exactly.
So yes, he makes a huge difference, especially when you have a guy like, I know we missing Shou, and I can't wait till he comes back. But we have somebody that does command double teams right now and can get those where OG offers both offense and the defense, the lockdown defense. So that's why I picked him to want to come first.
I agree. All good points. Salute to the chat. Salute to the chat. All right. If you're watching the show, hit that like and subscribe. We're here after every Knicks game. It's been a West Coast trip, so we be doing the post game shows the next night. But shout out to the chat: Gregory Lee, Keith Watkins, Marcus Bias. Shout out to TV Picks for Timmy. Shout out to Fritz, best knob in the game, bottom of the game. James Harris. Everybody rock with the Big Nick energy. Yo, I seen AP, Nate Smith, Cap Quest. Welcome back, Cap Quest. Everybody, DK, EJ21, everybody rock with the show. Hit that like and subscribe. Also, super chats are also welcome. It helps promote the channel. It helps kind of fun things here. So we also appreciate that as well. All right. But let's get into some other topics. Me and Ryan G talked about some other topics before you got here. I actually wanted you guys' input. And one of the things I actually wanted to talk about was we had this debate about Mitch versus Hartenstein, who would you rather keep? But also, I would like to also add Precious to that conversation because Precious is also the restricted free agent. And shout out to Ian Begley and the putback. But Bobby Marks was talking about the Knicks cap. And one poignant thing he said was if the Knicks keep everybody, he feels like we'll be in the second apron and we would not be able to trade for the star if we keep everybody and be in the second apron. He broke it down by saying, you know, OG he wanted to command 40 mil a year. Then he also talked about Precious cap being at 9 million. We had to give him 9 million. And he was also saying that Hartenstein would cost around 15 million. And then we have to keep Bojan because he's a trade chip. And if we do all those things, we would be in the second apron. And if you are in the second apron, what happens is you're only allowed to match contract for contract, which means if we trade for somebody like Cat, who costs 50 million coming in, you have to use a 50 million contract going out. You can't use two contracts that equal 50 million to go out, which means the Knicks want to stay under the second apron as much as possible. Now, after doing some kind of research, after kind of like doing numbers and asking around and stuff, you start to realize OG might take a pay cut. If OG takes a pay cut, right? And you heard there's rumors that he would take a pay cut and be here for 30 million. If he takes a pay cut, we don't draft anybody. That's 6 million off the books, and we don't bring back Burks. That's 10 million off the books. We still might be able to keep everybody, and be under the apron. But if that is not the scenario, I want to have a fun experiment and ask you guys, who would you prioritize keeping out of Mitch, Hartenstein, and Precious? And I would like to name it who's top priority, 1, 2, 3. Who's your top priority?
Who's first?
Lee, you can go first because I know you got time constraints.
First of all, I want to do a preamble that Mitchell Robinson is the best player of those three players. He is the most impactful, the most profound, the most powerful, the most defensively elite of those three guys. I also think the way I'm thinking about it, though, in terms of fit, and I would rank them iHeart 1, Precious 2, Mitchell Robinson 3. And I would prioritize even Precious over Mitchell Robinson because of the necessity, and we have seen this, of long, stretchy wings who are able to guard multiple positions. You can't just rely on just OG. Having OG and Precious gives you an advantage that very few teams in the upper echelon of NBA have, and we must retain that advantage. Also, Precious is the perfect backup for Julius Randle. Right? Everything that Obi Toppin wasn't, Precious Achiuwa is. If he develops a three-point shot, he might be as valuable, almost as valuable as OG. And that's really a high compliment. But right now, Precious's defense, ability to guard multiple positions, his high IQ, his hands in the post, all of that are super needed when Julius Randle comes back and he slots back into a 15, 18-minute per game backup role. It's going to be elite. The reason I prioritize Isaiah Hartenstein, number one, and why I argued for him over Mitchell Robinson against Ebony is not because I liked him more as a person or a player. I just think he's a better fit. And I was right about the drop-off is not that much between Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein. Sabonis, 3 points in the third quarter, 0 points in the fourth quarter, only 3 attempts in the fourth quarter, 0 for 3. That is unbelievable for one of the most skilled big men in the NBA for him to be held to that degree. There are only 3 players in the NBA who have had multiple games of 14-plus rebounds and 5 blocks. Victor Wembanyama, Anthony Davis, Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein, of any player on the New York Knicks, no one makes Brunson better than Isaiah Hartenstein because of his ability to give and go and transition, his ability to allow Brunson to go off ball and be a playmaker in the high or low post, and his ability to get other guys involved to let Brunson cook is instrumental in him as a perfect starting center in this current lineup. Because Tibbs is more of a read and react offense and isn't so much as a hands-on play caller, it makes iHeart even more crucial. And yes, Ebony makes a point that we don't know what Mitchell Robinson can do until we see it. He has been here 6 years. I've never seen him be able to play make out of the high post the way Isaiah Hartenstein can. And Hartenstein's a much better finisher around the basket as well, which makes him a threat. And in the last 6 minutes of a game, you never have to sit Isaiah Hartenstein to worry about being fouled or hack a shack to hit free throws. He didn't play the entire 6 minutes and finish out the game in elite fashion. That is not the case with Mitch Robinson, because they will foul him and they will send him to the line and he will miss. Not the case with Isaiah Hartenstein. Look at the free throw numbers in career and this season, and you'll see my point.
Okay.
I already know who I think is number one.
Who do you think number one?
Mitchell Robinson.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. We never seen Mitchell Robinson in this much space. We haven't seen what he can do. Every day, somebody on this team shows us something else they can do. Just yesterday, Precious showed us he got a little playmaking in him. When he cut into the lane and finding open shots for Brunson and Dante, he did that. I think it was Brunson or Dante. I can't remember who got the three. But like, we don't know what they can do unless you let them. And again, Tibbs just let iHeart be this iHeart on the perimeter. And to say that he does so much, they guard him similar to the way they guard Mitch. They're not guarding up on him because he's shooting the lights out. They're guarding up because they have to hedge on Jalen Brunson. You get what I'm saying? So that's going to happen with Mitch also. The way Precious gets those little passes from off the cut, Mitch cuts very, very well. We talk about what Mitch does and not a big drop off. Ayton, who went 31 and 14 on us, Mitch destroys every time he plays. Every time. Makes him look little every time he plays. That doesn't happen. Mitch doesn't jump anymore. He's so strong, he doesn't have to move anymore. He doesn't move. That's why we were last in blocks, because there's no need for him to block. He was on his Bill Russell. You don't have to block every shot, but you have to make people believe that you're going to block every shot. People don't believe that about iHeart. They try him every chance they get. They try him. And we talk about the perimeter defense, and my man Mitch has grown. I have plenty of clips of him locking up people on the perimeter. I told y'all remember the Milwaukee game? He was locking up Giannis and Lopez so bad they started shooting three-pointers. They were hitting them, but they had to start shooting three-pointers. You get what I'm saying? So that he on the perimeter thing, long, lengthy, maybe once upon a time, but while he was playing, he was on that perimeter. It was the reason he was in passing lanes. He was tied in steals with Dejounte Murray. Your center is tied in steals with the point guard. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, and you don't want to see this over with OG. He'll make this game so 10 times easier. We talk about Bojan and Alec Burks. That's what Mitch does. He erases mistakes. That's what he does. And he has somebody like an OG in front of him. It's going to be 80-point games a lot, because now he doesn't have to erase as many mistakes. He can sit back because the game has slowed for Mitch. The game has slowed for Mitch. So to me, it's Mitch, it's iHeart number 2, and it's Precious number 3, for the fact of the matter that he can't guard folks like Sabonis. He's been, I called it before, I think maybe Sims, and to have Sims in the limelight who can move on that perimeter. To me, he is the best perimeter big for me from what I've seen when he's in there. That he switches on everything. Another OG type in the making, maybe, because even on point guards, Tibbs is comfortable with Sims switching. So Precious might not be such a big priority as we think. It might, you get what I'm saying? They might have seen something in practice in Sims that we didn't. Same thing with McBride. We don't know. So that's my order. But to put iHeart over something that, again, Mitch didn't do. And if we want to talk numbers, look at his numbers against Ayton. I have them, but y'all can look them up. Look them up about Ayton. Look up the numbers on him against Miles Turner. Look those numbers up. Like, my man Mitch, you may have a good game once, but it is not he is what he is, and it's more than just rebounding. Because again, he moves. A big man that runs the court, who cuts. He's not a lazy big man. And his picks free people up. He's been setting some of the craziest picks this season, giving people wide open shots. That's offense.
which
Wow.
is why I said this is a team that we should go into the second apron for. Keep everybody screwed on after a star. Keep this team in place. Let's move it forward.
We gotta see what we do in the playoffs before second apron talk. That's how I feel about it. But Ryan G, go ahead. What are your thoughts? I know we kind of had this little
Yeah.
discussion already. So
Yeah, well, the way I view it, well, if I have to rank Mitch, Precious, iHeart, it would be for me Mitch 1, iHeart 2, Precious 3 by I guess rank. And here's the thing, because with iHeart and Mitch, iHeart does help this team out in so many different ways. And you can see the chemistry between him, especially when we had that full lineup of iHeart, Randall, OG, Dante, and Brunson. You can see the chemistry is there, and iHeart fits in offensively, with his passing ability and things of that nature. And he's a bit better on offense as well because, of course, the passing, he can also get into the lane with his little floater hook shot. And he can do a bit more things on offense than Mitch has shown. But at the same time, it's like the Achilles injury does worry me with iHeart, and you definitely have to put him on a minutes restriction because of that. So if you're gonna keep iHeart and have him be the starting center, you have to make sure that you have a legit backup center to play huge minutes as well, just to make sure his Achilles is intact and you don't injure it any further. Whereas with Mitch, yeah, Mitch is injury prone as well, but at least with Mitch doesn't have any worrying injuries where it's like, you have to be cautious with Mitch. Like when Mitch is healthy, you can play Mitch a certain amount of minutes, whatever the case may be, and not have to worry about, is this injury going to get worse and things of that nature. And that's the only reason I've leaned more towards Mitch, because of injury concerns. But at the same time, I think Ebony made good points as well, because we've seen iHeart with OG and all these guys, but we haven't seen Mitch with all these guys as of yet. And I think we kind of have to reserve judgment a bit, because let's see how the team looks when Mitch is in that lineup with OG and those guys as well, and see how that defense is. Because we also have to remember, before Mitch got hurt, Mitch was a defensive player of the year candidate. And that team was nowhere near as defensive as it is now. He had RJ Barrett on the wings and guarding instead of OG and things of that nature. So Mitch had a lot more to clean up. But let's see how Mitch looks when he has another cleanup guy with OG on defense and things like that. Let's see how that works, because so the way I see it is like we could easily say, yeah, iHeart now, because we've seen what iHeart looks like in this lineup, but then all of a sudden when we see Mitch in this lineup, we're like, God damn, like, opinion might change. So the only reason I'm leaning towards Mitch at the moment is because of injury concerns with iHeart. But like I said, I think we do have to reserve judgment, because let's give Mitch a chance and see how he looks with these guys. And look, and then opinion might change. You might see Mitch with OG, and then all of a sudden it's like that defensive rating just dips a bit more down. You're just like, damn, like it makes the decision harder. So yeah.
yeah, this is not an easy decision at all, man. This is not tough. Like I said, if you would have asked me this question a month ago when with OG and iHeart were playing together, it would have been a much easier decision for me, because I definitely was leaning more towards iHeart before the injury stuff. I think we actually said it on the show. I think all of us was pretty much like debating with Ebony. Now I think about it, I think we were just like, nah, iHeart, like, because like they're developing chemistry. You see how the offense and defense is flowing between iHeart and OG and Brunson and Randall. And you're like, wow, this is fitting together perfectly.
Yeah.
The Achilles thing make me flip. That's the thing that's making me flip flop. That's the thing that's making me flip flop. Like I can wake up tomorrow and change my mind. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Nah, that's what I'm saying. People always mention injury. Like Mitch had before this, he had 2 other seasons where he played like 30 games. The rest was 62, 68, 70, like around there, right? So he played a lot of those games. But that comes when you're big and you play a lot. Look, iHeart is the biggest playing the most he's ever played. And what happened? Because he's big and he plays a lot. Injuries happen. This comes with a lot of usage. So they always say, oh, Mitch, to pick the two because the one is healthy, but one is hurt and playing and didn't play like himself for a very, very long time. So even though he was available, he wasn't playing. He wasn't iHeart that we accustomed to.
Yeah, I agree. There's things you can't like. There's things I can't forget. Like I'll never forget Mitch bullying Evan Mobley and Jalen Allen in the playoffs at the same time and helping us win that series. I can't. Every time we play the Atlanta Hawks and Mitch is available, he bullies them. And when we play Atlanta Hawks lately, like their bigs bullied us, and we didn't have Mitch to help out on that side. At the same time, Hartenstein offensively, he just gives us a lot more. He gives he like he gives us the floaters. He gives us a little bit more space. It's more than just dunks. He kind of gives us a little bit more options. The playmaking from the foul line, like Lee said, is a lot to consider. There is
It's a little bit more space if you want to think about it. Because yesterday I had missed and it stuck with me because I thought for sure that it was gonna be a iHeart bucket. I think he had a mismatch in the post and he tried to do a post move and didn't go anywhere. And I'm in my head, I'm saying, this is supposed to be the difference. You get what I'm saying? That's supposed to be the difference. So I think we won't see. I think we have a good problem. It's just that a lot of people put what you didn't see and say that they can't do.
Yeah. I leaned when I had the debate with Ryan the other day. I leaned more towards Mitch by like a hair, like a Smith hair. Yeah. But I'm not gonna hold you. I can change my mind tomorrow, bro. Like I can change my mind tomorrow. Like it's that close for me. For me, the real quantifying thing that's going to sway my decision is really price at this point because Mitch is a descending contract. iHeart, we don't know what he's going to command in the open market, and if he costs a certain amount, then it's going to really be hard for us to keep everybody together. Then we're going to have to make a tough decision. And in that case, if he costs too much, then you go Precious, and we got Sims, so it'll be Mitch, Sims, Precious. But in my mind, it's Mitch, Hartenstein, Precious to me. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I just want to say because I want to shout out my mama because exactly, mama, exactly. Defense is offense. Offensive and defensive rebounds create extra possession. In the right hands equal extra points. He does create extra point. That offense, he doesn't, maybe not offense for himself, but you get what I'm saying. Those extra possessions, he does give you good looks. And on top of, like I mentioned before, those picks, even if you don't take away from the rebound, he does open up for people. He gives easier shots for other folks, not just off the rebound, but with his screening. There's a lot of little things that Mitch does well, but they little, so people take the impact away. But again, it's only one ball, so those little things away from that one ball make up for a lot. That's why his plus minus is always
Now I know Mitch does well. Like 1 year he led the league in. Like there was some crazy stat where the Knicks had the most 3-point shots off of assists from Mitch off the rebounds. Like that was a stat last year. Like his assist numbers after offensive rebounds was crazy. So things like that. He was doing good, like passing off the short roll. So he does things offensively, not to the degree that Hartenstein does, but it's not to diminish what he does. He does something, but Hartenstein to me still gives you a little bit more than that. Lee, do you have to leave? I know you have some place to go. I don't know if you want to say anything. Oh, you muted.
You muted.
Sorry, the sirens are going off behind me, so I put myself on mute. I still have 20 minutes.
Okay.
I don't have to run to one, but I do want to say that just because I'm firm in my advocation for iHeart over Mitch, how I prioritize, it does not mean I want to get rid of Mitch or that I think that's the right move.
Right.
My hope, and this is probably controversial, I think we should go into the second apron for this team. I am no longer interested in trading for any star. I don't talk about it. I don't think about it. I'm not about it. I would rather keep both Mitch, Precious, and iHeart on this team and roll with this and try to win a championship with this current squad. And that, me and Ebony probably agree because, as she says, free is me. So to me, keeping Mitch and iHeart is a damn good problem to have that really no other team has this level of depth at the center position. And I want to keep both of them because both of them add things that the other one doesn't. And when they're in there, they dominate at the center position with only the exception of maybe one or two matchups, Joker and Embiid.
Right. And the only other thing I would say is this opportunity, and I talked about this with Ryan as well. Ideally, I'm with you guys. I want to keep everybody here. I think if we go into the playoffs and if we go into the playoffs and we're in the finals and we lose in like 6 or something like that, or 6 or 7, I think you really have to think about trying to keep this scheme together if something like that happens. But for us, Precious in particular, I think it's going to be really hard to keep Precious with him knowing that you have Mitch here, you have Hartenstein here. It's like you don't know where your minutes are going to come from all the time. So even though we can extend to him a qualifying offer of $9 million, I can easily see him going somewhere else, like maybe OKC or somebody who might need a big, just because he'll have more opportunity to play. So that's just something to mentally prepare for, you guys. But overall, I love every one of these guys on this team. I would like to keep everybody. And what we do in this playoff run, and hopefully everybody's healthy, what we do in this playoff run is going to probably decide a lot of what we're going to do in the offseason. All right?
Yeah.
But I have a question.
I am team keep everybody, to be honest.
Huh?
No, I was just saying I am team keep Mitch, Ihart, and Precious if possible. That would be the ideal situation. Like,
yeah, because we always have those picks too. And like I mentioned, maybe we can do like Denver did. Go high risk because they're not gonna play right now. Can't you still do that with the apron? You still have your draft picks. It's just not the second round or something like that, right?
I think it's going to be because like we have 2 picks. Shout out to Bobby Marks, explained it well and put back. He said we got 2 picks, and that those 2 picks will equal around $6 million. So I think I don't know if we're able to actually draft. You know what I mean? Like I think we might still have to end up getting somebody off who wasn't drafted that we see potential in. You know what I mean? Unless somebody leaves, like maybe if Burks leaves, maybe then we find somebody in a draft who replace Burks or something like that. But that's about it. But who knows? We'll see what Burks does. I don't know. We'll see.
The way I think about it, Minnesota is paying Rudy Gobert that amount where we could be playing 2 very, very good centers. You get me? That's how I look. I think it could happen. Now, Precious, I don't know so much. I would love for him to stay, but I don't know. Who knows? And maybe with the injuries of the OG and iHeart, they can talk and negotiate and things of that nature. I know injuries do take a part in how they get paid.
That's true.
Maybe that is, and I don't know how. Maybe they have incentives about games played and things of that nature. So who knows what they're able to do when it comes to the offseason with that, because Leon Rose has shown that he can get good contracts, he can negotiate good contracts. So I think I have faith in that. And I've never said that about a front office and a Knicks.
I hope so because listen, it doesn't work all the time. Like he wanted this bread. He was standing firm. And he was like,
they already knew what they had in Deuce. And Deuce, to me, yes, he's not there, but think about quickly in his development. Yeah. And how every year he had to add on something else. We had to ask him to keep expanding his role. Every year he did give it to us. McBride seems like the type that he stays in the gym and every year. You asked him for a jump shot, right?
That's a fact.
He said, okay, I got you. Now we got to get this handle and his playmaking. And that comes with the game slowing down and him being able to play. So I think he'll get better with that too. So I think they've done great, like locking up so they have insurance and they don't have to be desperate.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? That they can afford not to be desperate because they have players like Sims and McBride in the shadows.
I agree. Brock Aller doing his thing for sure. Yeah. I got one more question to ask you guys before we break out of here and get to the bro picks. But before I get to that, salute to the chat. I see some guys here. Haven't seen them in a while. See some new faces. Shout out to the dope ass vegan. Maybe you should recommend some food that I should eat. Shout out to you. Shout out to Nate Smith. Shout out to Trap B Ryan. He be making some dope ass music too on Twitter. He be doing rhyming over doing tributes to Brunson, so definitely check him out. Shout out to Big Nick Energy. A shout out to Mini Mimi. Everybody else is rocking with the show. If you like the show, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We here after every post game. Although this week, this schedule is a little weird on the West Coast, so we're doing post games the next day. Friday, for everybody in the chat, we will be doing Fan Friday. We're gonna try this out. Actually, tried this out one time. It worked out okay. I think people got gun shy, didn't want to join. We had a link open, said, hey, anybody can join. One person joined, everybody else was scared. But it was but we're gonna try it again, and we're gonna have Fan Friday. We're gonna have a little link in the chat. It'll be a Zoom link. You can join and talk to us on Friday. And so some certain people who be like, yo, I always wanted to be on the show. Y'all hit me up. Yo, I want to be on the show. I want to talk. This is y'all chance. All right. This is y'all chance. Be on camera on the show and talking with us. It's probably like a little time limit or something, probably like 10 or 15 minutes, if anything. And then we'll switch it out if there's a lot of people. But we're going to be doing that on Friday, so look out for that. All right, cool. So cheers to everybody in the chat. Monarch Smart TV, shout out to you. All right. One more question I wanted to ask for a closeout. Bojan and Alec Burks. They full of surprises, right? You've been writing them off. They've been playing with that Detroit stench on them. Really haven't been making shots. Defense has been real shaky in the knees, looking like Bambi legs on defense. They couldn't walk like my verse defense. Tom Thibodeau, though, unlike Fizdale, he's looking like he's trying to get these guys right. Today, we starting to see a little bit of a heartbeat. They scored 21 points. Really, Jalen Brunson needed any offensive help, and those guys actually helped. So I have a question. For you guys. And this one I'm also interested in leads specifically with this question. Usually we have a 9-man rotation. Usually in the playoffs, some coaches go 8. Matter of fact, most coaches go 8 in the playoffs. So we already know if Julius Randle is here, the 5 is going to be Jalen Brunson, Dante DiVincenzo, OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, and I don't know, it could be Hart or Mitch, right? When it comes to the bench, who is the 4 coming off the bench? You feel like it's going to be McBride, right? Then you have Bojan. Then you have who else? We got
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart. Oh, yeah, Josh Hart's playing. You know that Josh Hart's playing. So you got McBride, we got Josh Hart. You know those guys are most likely playing. Or are they? I don't know what's happening. Then we have Precious. Then we have Bojan, and then we have Mitch or Hartenstein. Like, we know Mitch and Hartenstein is playing. To me, it gets really dicey when you're talking about, are you going to play Bojan or are you going to play Precious?
I think the lineup looks a lot different. Not too different, but it's going to look where they might just go more small ball. Not even talking about like iHeart, but like iHeart maybe with Josh Hart or Mitch with a Josh Hart bogey, like a smaller type lineup, because you have such 2 bigs, legit rim protection 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they do that. I don't know. I think if Tibbs did what he did yesterday, it could be anybody. It could be whoever impacts the game the most. That's what I'm hoping he goes with. Sometimes different matchups deserve different defenders. Some people have other people's numbers. You hear it all the time. Like I just can't defend, and they're like, who couldn't you defend? And it'll be somebody that you wouldn't expect. Sometimes people just have other people's number, and you have to switch it up or change adjustments. But if Tibbs does what he did yesterday with Precious, like even helping Precious, so he didn't continue being destroyed in defense, I see him maybe expanding it just a little bit on some nights.
We'll see. Like that's usually we'll see, but that's not usually, and it's not even a Tibbs thing. Most coaches don't go 10. Most coaches
I'm
don't
sorry,
go
and
10.
plus minutes restrictions. He did try, and then he used the Cam thing to go back to 9.
Right.
But
When he got it, when he was about to get fired, he was like, "Oh nah,
yeah,
Cam, you gotta sit down."
and then he used the Cam thing to go 9. But
Yeah.
other than that, he definitely has had that happen. But
But
the fact that it's had some success, I don't he used it, so he doesn't have to go back.
here's the
But
here's the thing. If you're going 9, like that Precious Bojan thing to me is the thing that really stands out. But now Alec Burks might be finding his way back in, because if you have the people who've been playing well consistently so far, it's been McBride, Josh Hart, Josh Hart, Precious, and then I guess you could say, let's just say Mitch for argument's sake. And then you'll usually have one of the starters joining them. That's usually how it goes, whether it be Jalen Brunson or OG Anunoby or whatever. And that'll be the 5 usually.
well, I don't know about the playoffs, but probably if they come back before the playoffs, maybe we gotta factor in minutes restrictions too. So just for now, they might just see what they have, like how that works, and see when they're there at a small sample size who they want next to them, who he wants most, in that rotation maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a good problem to have.
It's a good problem to have, but do you go to defense or you go with the shot making possibilities? Because Bojan can make the shots. Precious is going to give you the defense. Sometimes I feel like he's going to lean more towards the shot making because we have so much defense. Which is why I feel like this might be a tricky playoff decision for Precious to play in. So I'm really keeping my eye on that. I'm also keeping my eye on Alec Burks to see if this is a fluke or not. Because for the last week and a half, I thought Miles McBride was a shoo-in, and he might still be a shoo-in, but this is the first time Burks is showing a heartbeat. And when the other team played when the other team played playoff type defense, Burks knew how to respond a little bit more than McBride did. Now McBride, this is his first time really playing against a defense like that for extended minutes. He's usually taken out when something like that happens. But he's going to get better with time. But when for this whole time, I'm thinking it might be McBride over Burks. Maybe the tide is changing. That's something to keep an eye on.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any way that Tom Thibodeau does not have a 9-man rotation. All you guys are right. It's very, very rare that you see a coach extend the rotation that they did become comfortable with in a regular season into the playoffs and add another guy. But what I do think will happen, and what I'm really praying, is that he adopts a Spoelstra mentality, which is, I got 9 guys, but it varies series to series. One series, Bojan might be the better option because you really need shot making, because maybe the opposing team has a lot of long defenders. You need someone to space it out in the corners. You go with him, because that's what Spoelstra did with Hayward, Highsmith, Zeller, and Kevin Love. Not all 3 of those guys were part of a 9-man rotation in every series. He plugged and played depending on what the team needed around Jimmy and Bam, whether it was extra playmaking, extra rebounding, extra spacing. I think that's why I would like to see some Tibbs, where maybe one series, McBride is our go-to guy as a backup point guard. Another one, it might be Burks. Same thing with Precious and Bojan. But if it comes down to just 9 guys, I will always put defense over offense. Give me Precious over Bojan, even though I am captain of the Bojan Hive and have been for some time. Finally wasn't embarrassed to be last night. It was the first time I wasn't embarrassed to be.
But I see. And sorry, Ryan. That Big Nick Energy said it is more of a who deserves more, but it's not who deserves more between Precious and Bojan. It's I cannot take my best players off the court, which so that's what that helps add to. Like you can if we get a big lead, you can afford to take your players off, get still some more rest, as the rounds go by. Definitely.
I mean, and Big Nick also said Brunson played 45 in Game 6. Big Nick, though, the thing we forget is the Miami Heat injured quickly, like Game 1 or 2. I forgot which one. So the backup point guard spot was pretty much decimated from the rip. So Brunson at that point really had no choice. He really had no choice but to play, which is why Alec Burks is here in the first place. Alec Burks is here in the first place, so he wouldn't have to do that. But McBride started to step up, so we started to think maybe McBride can kind of help Brunson get some rest. But that's still an experiment that we're still waiting to see how that experiment kind of works out. Hopefully he doesn't have to play 45 minutes and he can play closer to like 39, you know? But I don't know, man. I feel like it could be Bojan. In my opinion. I feel like it could be Bojan because of the offense, defense, and the way. If he's playing more like he played yesterday on defense, and like I said, he didn't play perfectly, but he had some moments, like the 2 fouls he had, like the foul. There was a foul where he jumped straight up and down, and I felt like it disrupted the shot, and they called the foul on him. I felt that was a really good defensive stand. The first dunk he made in that play, he helped out on a penetrator. He stunted on the penetrator, and then he closed out on the shooter, and then he leaked out for the dunk. That was like a multiple effort play from Bojan that I'm not used to really seeing. And I was like, oh, okay. He's stepping up. Like if he's gonna give you some effort like that, where he's not a net negative, then I can start to see him play a little bit more. All right.
I agree. Go ahead.
All right. But yeah, I might lean toward more Bojan. I might lean more towards Bojan. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I was just gonna throw in my 2 cents right quick. Yeah, like the 2 main guys, I think that probably will come off the bench. Josh Hart is a given. Like he's gonna be playing, regardless of the fact because of the impact he makes when he's in the game. And I do think whether they decide to go with Mitch or Hart in the starting lineup, the other one is definitely gonna come off the bench to, give the other guy a break and get some playing time. So those 2 guys is like a given. Like those 2 guys are definitely playing no matter what. So that gives you a 7-man rotation right there. Playoffs get shown to 8 or 9. So I think if Thibs decides to go 9, I can't see it going McBride. And I think Bojan would probably be in there just for spacing purposes sometimes, but I do think, which I think Lee made this point that what you're gonna hope for is that okay, the Knicks have a really deep team. They can go 10, 11 deep based on the players that they have in the squad. What you're hoping for is that they're just going to is going to go by matchups.
Yeah.
So like if a guy's more effective against this team, you're going to go with that guy as well. So like with McBride and Burks, if McBride is more effective against that team, then you go with McBride. If Burks is more effective, you go with Burks. Likewise with Bojan and Precious. If Bojan is more effective, you go with Bojan. If Precious is more effective, you go with Precious. So that's what you're hoping for from Thibs. He just pretty much adjusts the rotation based on the matchup and who's more effective in the matchup. But I just know for certain, no matter what, Josh Hart and Mitch or Hart, depending on who they're going to bring off the bench, those 2 guys are playing no matter what. That's all I know.
Yeah, I heard you. If we play Orlando, Precious has got to play. That's how.
Yeah.
If we play Orlando and we want to lock up Pablo, yeah, we playing Precious. Lock him up.
Facts.
Yeah. Bring out the police cars, right, Ebony? There it is.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah, just keep quick with it, yo. Still got those D1 reflexes. I see you. See you. All right, yo, salute to the chat. Shout out to my guy. Shout out to Tony Banks. Says, I'm sorry I missed a notification. Let's go Knicks. Man, they trying to hold us down, man. You see the people are missing notifications. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when we are coming on. You'll be alerted every time we go live because we be going live after every game. Like I said, Fridays, we're gonna start Fan Fridays, so you can hop in the chat. If you ever want to be on the show with us, you can hop in the chat on Fridays. On Friday, we'll be talking about the Knicks versus Nuggets game. So we'll be having a early post game show, probably around 7:38 or something. But so stay tuned for Friday. For Fan Fridays, we're gonna put like a little link in the chat. It'll be a Zoom link. You come in here, you can join us, and we'll talk Knicks basketball. It'll be timed, it'll be like 15 minutes or so, or whenever you just finish talking, and then we can loop you out, put somebody in. All right, cool. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit that like and subscribe. Join us for every post game. Okay. Now it's time for one of the favorite parts of the show. It's the bruh picks. Bruh picks are usually the worst plays of the game. Also, it doesn't have to be about the game. It could be any game. Also, it could be something stupid, something dumb, something idiotic that you just want to point out. And you want to just point out that it's stupid or dumb or idiotic. So let's get ready for these bruh picks. I don't know if you guys have any bruh picks to talk about.
I got a couple.
Okay, what you got?
I got a couple. So I'm gonna just get right into it. So the first bro pick, usually with bro picks, we're here, making fun of players or whatever the case may be. I don't really want to make fun of this player because, he's a college player and, sometimes, the moment might get to you and, you make a big mistake and it might weigh you down a bit, so, he made a bonehead play, but I don't want to really, really make fun of the kid because it's like, I want him to, keep his head up and just know that,
Ryan G's for the kids.
Everybody
Okay.
makes mistakes. And, you'll come back from that. You know what I mean? So, but it's still a broad pick though, so I have to say it regardless.
Oh, you phony.
So,
Why even bring that up if he's still good?
So Kent State versus Akron, close game, down the wire. Dude from Akron makes a shot. Dude from Kent State makes a shot. Late in the game, 6 seconds left on the clock, team goes up by 1. So all you pretty much have to do is defend and just hope that you force the team into a bad shot and they miss. So Akron inbounds the ball, running full court, and kid's name is Rollins. He intentionally fouls the guy running up the court and gives Akron 2 free throws. The kid from Akron makes both free throws, and Kent State ends up losing the game. That was the championship game.
Oh, he's sick.
The automatic bid to the NCAA tournament.
Ah, he's sick. He's sick. Damn. That sucks. I feel bad for the kid. You're a horrible person, Ryan. Why'd you mention that on here?
Like it's definitely a broad pick, but it's definitely a broad pick. But I don't want to, get too down on the kid because it's like, he's still a kid, and
yeah, he's still a kid, and you're a horrible person
that,
for mentioning that.
Definitely a broad pick, though. Yeah. And my second broad pick goes to the Lakers and Warriors game because they had some clock malfunction late in the game, and it took like 16 minutes for like 3 seconds to go off the damn clock. And I'm just like, yo, what's going on in Laker land for that to happen? Bruh. That's a broad pick right there, too.
Everything broken. I mean, I guess Anthony Davis is healthy, so something has to not work in Lakers. Like, this is transfer of energy. You know what I mean? That's just the laws of the land. That's
For real.
All right.
I got some.
Oh, you got something. What's the gun fingers?
What? I got some. I ain't have my rocket launcher. I don't have that many to have the rocket launcher. That's why I didn't bring it out. I don't have that many. One goes to Paul Pierce. Because Paul Pierce should be bruh pick every show.
Oh,
like,
God. Breathing. I can't wait for Paul Pierce to wear a Jalen Brunson jersey. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, it's all right, Jay. But I get your frustration. I understand because I dislike this man a lot too. Every bruh pick, we should just say Paul Pierce just because. Like, just say that. Because he probably said something that we should have him up here for anyway. You get
That's true. He is alive. He said something stupid.
So him and Kevin Garnett talking about today's game. And Kevin Garnett gave basketball reasons why he didn't think the Knicks were going to win. He said Sacramento good at home, the energy, we missing. He gave little basketball take on why he didn't think that we were going to win. Paul Pierce is just like, I can't rock with the Knicks. That's it. I can't rock with the Knicks.
Bruh. We know what it is, man. It's hate. We know he wears green. The Celtics and the Knicks hate each other. He is never going to give a solid, well thought out basketball opinion about the Knicks. It's just not going to happen. Even if the Knicks were to win a championship, that man will make an excuse. I'm not expecting I'm not expecting him to say anything good about New York Knicks ever in his life. It's just the way it is. And we hate each other.
He reminds me of
Sometimes you just hate each other. That's
Well, the thing with Paul Pierce is that not only is that Celtic stench too strong on him, is the fact he also played for that Brooklyn Paint Jobs team too. So it's like not only does he have that,
That's
not
a
only does he
fact.
have that Celtic stench on him,
And the Wizards.
yeah, he has that net stench on him too. The Wizards
And the
stench on him,
Clippers.
because you already know Wizards fans hate us because every time we go into their house, it becomes MSG. So you already know
Facts.
Wizards fans hate us too. So
yeah. I want to say something about Paul Pierce, but it's too far, so I'm gonna shut up.
That's too
I
far.
think I know what
You
you're
remind
talking
me of Arthur from the cartoon. You remember? So I said, "Hey, what a wonderful time today."
That was my
Full
joint.
pairs of glasses.
Yeah.
But-
Whenever Paul Pierce speaks, Arthur Fist for sure.
So before I bounce out, I got some. Oh, I'm sorry, Ebony. Were you
Yeah,
done?
no, you gotta go. Go ahead.
Okay. I got some pick. I want to give a shout out to the city of Sacramento. No hate. There's no punchline here. Jalen Brunson hit the nail on the head. They're a great fan base. Those bumpkins up there, they know their ball. They care about basketball, and they've been Fire fans since the early 2000s when they had Peja and Divac and Weber and Bibby. Arco Arena's always been loud. Dudo Cowbell, Sacramento Kings, you'll see what I mean. They made it hell for Shaq and Kobe back in the day, and they make it hell for their opponents now. I know like the light the beam stuff's a little corny, but that's like Indiana. They might be bumpkins, but they know their ball and they love their ball. So they're one of the best fan bases in all of sports. So I want to give some shout outs to Sacramento King fans. Now my bro picks, man. Woo boy, there's been a lot of bums this week and last week. Let's start with Boeing. The door flew off the Boeing while they were in the air. And so they're doing an investigation. Well, come to find out, Boeing has deleted all emails and security footage of the worker who was working on that door prior to blowing off. So no surprise there. We are a country of corporate welfare. We protect and support our corporations more than we do our people, which is horrendous. Also speaking of that, Congressman William Keating, you are a bum for life. February 28th, you sold all of your stock in Boeing. February 29th, DOJ announces investigation into Boeing. You, sir, are a criminal and a treasonous congressman that should be stripped of your title and booted out of office, in my opinion. No elected official should be able to buy and own stock in American corporations while they were serving their term. That is egregious. Donald Trump, if you don't get elected, there'll be a bloodbath in America. Come on, man. This rhetoric stop. It's insane. And the terrible thing is, that's not the worst thing he's ever said. To me, the most scariest thing is when he said he could shoot someone in the middle of the street and he wouldn't lose a single voter. That is true. I know many Trump fans. Some of them are people I love very dearly. And he could murder someone in broad daylight and he would still vote for him over Biden. I'm not saying vote for Biden, but that is an unbelievable state of mind.
Yeah.
To be that bought into a cult of personality and someone is un-American, in my opinion, is Donald Trump. That does not mean I'm a Democrat. I hate Democrats and I hate Joe Biden. So don't put me in that group. I hate both parties. I'm for the people. Lastly, shout out Upik, the whole KOT fam. I think we're really vibing right now. The vibes are strong. The momentum's high. And I love that we're all here together as these Knicks go after a championship. Let's go.
Let's
baby.
go.
Let's go.
I got a bro pick.
Okay, who you rough it?
My bro pick. Hold on.
I got another one too.
It's kind of an U pick though. It's an Uber.
It's a Uber.
Yeah, it's an Uber. Hold on. My bad. I should have set this up beforehand. But
okay, real quick while you setting it up, I just want to say to Lee, yes, that's why we vibe, because I'm the same one. I believe in politics like apples and oranges, they both fruit, right?
Yeah.
You just gotta pick the one with the least mold.
Facts.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Oh man.
yeah, this is my Uber.
Oh yeah.
This is my Uber. Shout out to my cousin Keon Ellis. All right, my other real fake cousin. My other real fake cousin is shout out to Winston Ellis. I don't know if he's still here. I call him my real fake cousin in the chat. But my Uber goes to Jalen Brunson for this filthy maneuver. I don't know. Dude hit him with the fake point screen with three with up three, game on the line, hits him with the fake point, turns his head and scores the bucket. Everybody saw it. It was amazing and embarrassing all at the same time. So, yeah, you already know what it is. The fake point. You fake point, turn your head, gone. Basket. Yeah. Yeah. Even Miles O'Brien is like, what? Bruh.
Definitely gets the
Ubra, I'll take it. That's my Ubra
yeah.
for today.
The Hoover. I have one more since I didn't get to go yet because I need to get this one out. And this is my last bro pick is Holly Rowe. Holly Rowe. Analyst for ESPN, shouldn't be around young women, in my opinion. She has certain young woman, let me put it like that. She has made a statement about how you shouldn't. Dear women's basketball fans, do you know you can uplift your team without tearing opponents down? The online bullying is getting wild and directed at these young women who are just trying to be great. We can be so much better. Stop bullying the ballers, right? Now that sounds all good and dandy, right? You're like, what's the point? What's the problem, man?
What happened?
It's because this one woman is responsible for a lot of bullying of the ballers.
Oh.
She,
is that so? Okay.
But it's only a certain type of baller that she gets this response from. Like you hear from her from. And she happens to be now covering Caitlin Clark. That's who she's covering. That's her sole assignment to cover her, which is cool. But she has a history of messing up people's names in the biggest moments. How you mess up Aaliyah Boston's name after she just won a national championship. You get what I'm saying? Then she has this thing where she does trauma bonding with a certain type of player. I mean, trauma bonding on their biggest parts of their night. She ruined a couple of people's draft nights, like made them cry, had to hold it in, giving out personal information that they might not have been so comfortable knowing on their best nights. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they were bullying, there's been bullying all around, but it's coincidental that she speaks out now and her long line of history. It was so bad, her draft coverage, that they were trying to do a boycott her. They're asking for Andrea Carter, who's amazing, to actually a lot of fans would like her.
I love her.
Yeah.
Got you. Bruh. So bruh picked you for bullying, but you to bully yourself.
Yeah, basically ruining a lot of young women's best nights. Was supposed to be their happiest nights.
Got it. All right. Good bro picks. Shout out to the chat. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back though. Yo, is there a game tomorrow? This is when it gets tricky.
Yeah, tomorrow Warriors.
Because tomorrow is the Warriors, and it is a game Tuesday, right?
It's at 10:30. I think I saw 10:30. Hold on.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock or 10:30 is one of them.
Oh, okay, 10 o'clock. Woo, I thought I saw 10:30. It's 10.
It's 10. Is there a game Tuesday too? I thought it's a back-to-back.
There's a game Thursday. We got a game Thursday, and we got a game Saturday against the Nets after that.
Okay, so it's a game tomorrow at 10.
Versus Golden State.
So we can do a post-game on Tuesday. We can do a post-game Tuesday.
Okay, and
then the Knicks got 2 days off, and then they face the Nuggets Thursday.
All right, so we can do a post-game on Tuesday and Friday. That works out.
And then we got an early game against the Nets on the Saturday.
Oh, they wild for that. Like, yo, we get Nuggets late, and then we have to fly it in.
Oh, they trying to try. I see what you doing. I see what you NBA. I see what you doing. You trying to set it up for the Nets to get the win. I see what you doing.
For real.
Y'all crazy.
But real quick, y'all, I'm looking at this schedule, right? And after the Nuggets, right, if we can get through this West Coast trip 4-0, keep this thing going, keep this streak going, then you have the Nets, the Pistons, the Raptors, the Spurs. So you get a little, not a break, but we could pick up.
We can start to pick up some steam.
Yeah.
And now,
then after this,
We looking at the Cavs, who we only down by 2 games. They kind of sputtering. Now we in the 3rd place. Now we looking like a championship run. We facing the Celtics in the 3rd round in the Eastern Conference Final. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that.
But right after the Spurs, we go right back because I think I seen Thunder right after that. Yeah.
Nah, we own the Thunder one, so we
right back to business.
Yeah, we do on the Thunder one. We gotta get a lick back against the Thunder.
I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly. I need that back.
The way we lost to the Thunder, I felt like if we would have played 5 more minutes, we would have won that game. Because I remember being in the 4th quarter, and I'm like, oh, I feel like we finally figured them out, and then we just ran out of time. I think we can beat the Thunder, especially if hopefully OG is more back to normal. He's hitting his shots. But I felt like we figured out a way to kind of guard and make shots against the Thunder. So I think we could beat the Thunder straight up. I think we can.
I think we played so bad against the Thunder, it got people traded. That's right after that game. RJ and Quickly were out of here. I need that lick back. I need to see them with somebody that can match up with the multiple long wings they had.
Oh, and I forgot to mention this before. Rest in peace to RJ's brother.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to RJ's brother. Tragic. I can't imagine losing a sibling. Shout out to my little sister. But I can't imagine what that family is going through. So praying for y'all, praying for that family, Toronto organization. Once a Knick, always a Knick. So we feel for you, RJ. And blessings to you and your fam. Hope you find solace in your family and knowing your brother was resting in a better place right now. So salute to them and rest in peace.
Definitely. It's bigger than basketball. Family, I know to a lot of people is everything. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't, come back. And that's his right, because death is never easy. And there is no timetable for it.
I agree. Definitely agree.
Definitely.
Shoot, what's his name? What's his brother's name? I don't just want to say his.
Nathan Barrett.
Yeah, Nathan.
Nathan Barrett. Rest in peace, Nathan Barrett.
Facts.
All right, y'all. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Oh wait, we got a super chat in the middle of the bruh pick. So I want to shout. I want to shout out Michael Parker, yo. Michael Parker just be showing up out of nowhere sometimes. Who sends a $20 super chat? And he says, "Salute to Knicks Nation. The OG effect is real. 15-2." Now we had a whole segment talking about OG Anunoby, about his effectiveness in the game, and I do not think that we Knicks win 3 games in a row without OG Anunoby. The 2 points really don't quantify what he has done for this Knicks team. So shout out to OG Anunoby for real. All right. That's the show, though. Thank you guys for watching. Ebony, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me here, KOT, at every post game. You can find me on X. I hate that. I say X. Twitter. Whoa. Twitter is Twitter, Instagram, and now Twitch. I'm a gamer, so if you game,
okay,
Twitch, definitely. And on
Ebony Sanat, all right.
on X, I run the pregame called Your Take Knicks, and for the Liberty Saga, Balling with the Queens.
All right. So support those. Support definitely Your Take Knicks. They do a good job. Ball the Queens. Ebony's there, so I'm sure they do a good job too. So definitely check out those shows.
Fun.
All right. Ryan G, let them know they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is Chillin'.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR, G is CHILLIN, and also big up RJ, big up his family. Condolences to RJ and his family, and once a Knick, always a Knick. So hope he's handling it well, and I pray that he gets over this rough moment in his life, because it really is tough to lose a family member, especially someone that's close to your siblings. So
that's for sure. Shout out to 2 Knicks chicks in the chat too. I see you guys. All right, that's the show. Thank you guys for watching, and you guys know the drill. As always, shout out the Worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess. It's a mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out this piece.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.